Quintessence of Secret Mercury is the fifth book in David Chaim Smith's Lightning Flash of Aleph series, and it's just as beautiful as all the others, possibly even fuller of his gorgeous esoteric maps than all the others. Actually, there are so many of these delightful diagrams within. I'll show you that in a few moments. Just a quick word about what this actually is. It's as you can see, it's a little slimmer than the Fountain of Wisdom that I reviewed a couple of weeks ago, but it's a very different work. So just like all the other works in this series, they're all standalone books. They're all designed to be read on their own as individual experiences. Having the whole series doesn't make one book more readily available or less readily available than any other. It's just that they kind of fit together as a group of books, if that makes sense. They're not necessarily to be read one after the other, and you would be perfectly fine picking up book 5 only, if that makes sense. So let's see. This is really, as I was saying earlier on, it's very different from book 4, which is a monolith. It's a single work. This is a collection, actually, of works, and some of them are just one page, and some of them are a little longer. But in every case, the experience of reading is very rewarding, very rewarding. There is this introduction, first of all, the Subliming Bath, which is very clear, very easily approached, and well, maybe that's going a little far. I'm not sure any of David Chaim Smith's is very easy to approach. However, it's clear, and with the smallest amount of Kabbalistic background, that becomes really quite easily available. As I say, it works quite nicely as an introduction. Then there's this wonderful work, this wonderful exercise that he proposes, the sacrifice of the golem. Now, the golem is a traditional alchemical aim. The homunculus, the idea of making a living being, and this exercise suggests that the practitioner creates that living being in vision, so within, and then offers that being as a sacrificial representation of themselves, in order to reach certain states of mind which are the goal, right? Which are the whole point. He then goes on to the Tikkun of the Circle. So the Tikkun of the Circle is designed as a wordless book. So there's a nice introduction to that over here, and it's just how many is it? Is it 24 images, which we get kind of thumbnails of them over here, but one after the other, you get them all over here, and each one of them is just as beautifully and intricately presented. And as I was saying in the previous video that I made about the Fountain of Wisdom, David Chaim Smith calls himself an esoteric cartographer. So these are maps of. He says that, and this is kind of interesting. He says that esoteric experiences aren't really visualizable. They happen in the inner regions of the self, and they are rather detached from the 5 senses, and so it's kind of difficult to make a representation of them. However, when one returns to, well, what traditionally Kabbalists might think of as Malkuth, there are residues of that experience, and these designs are that closest representation as possible of that residual whatever's left. So we get lots of these. You'll notice that it's not completely wordless. He has added some text over here, which is not directly related, but supplemental, he says. So the designs are meant to be experienced directly and on their own, and meditated upon, and so on. And these short texts are designed to be a helpful aid for that meditation. So there we are. Then there are these 3 one-page or almost one-page texts. So the Prayer of the 5 Purities, the Consecration of View, and then this fold-out page, which is the Lightning Flash of Aleph, right? The title of this series of books. So this design in itself is a representation of that. So I'll just come in a little bit so that you can appreciate the detail and intricacy of the design. There's a lot to discover there. A lot to discover. Yeah. And then there is finally the on the next page, the Quintessence of Secret Mercury, the actual title of the this compendium, right? And this is a slightly longer text. I don't know, maybe about 30 pages or so. Again, very heavily illustrated, and we have a little clue as to what's going on here. At the very end here, this text was gathered from fragments in notebooks during 3 years of formal retreat in Brooklyn between the years 2011 and 2014. It was rewritten into cohesive form in 2017 and then revised in 2021. So this text is possibly a little less readily accessible. It takes time to appreciate what he's talking about. These are clearly the words of someone who is spending the majority of his time in contact with realms which are not your everyday making an appointment to the dentist kind of experience, and it works very well at the end of this book, because by the time you have been through all of these earlier experiences, a lot of these on the surface quite hermetic statements, they become much more approachable. In fact, I suppose that's the reason why they're not presented at the very beginning of the book, right? It gives you a moment to kind of get into sync with David Chaim Smith's way of thinking and his entire philosophy, and some of the words that he uses and their correspondences, what he's mapping those words to, and so on. So there we are. Just again, a fantastic experience, a really profound experience reading this book, and one that anyone can enjoy, regardless of their, in quotes, advancement in the theory and or practice of Kabbalistic thought and theory. There we go. Extraordinary work as usual. There we are. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please remember to click that like button. It helps me very, very much when you do. Of course, only if you did in fact like the video. And feel free to click the dislike video if you didn't like the video. The subscribe button, of course, is down the same place as usual if you haven't subscribed yet. Thanks very, very much for watching, and see you very soon with another review. Bye-bye.